6, 2005?
What was I doing on May 6th? No, I don't remember.
That was Audio Slave Live in Cuba.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that day. That was really something.
It was like actually kind of a 4.5 days that seemed to kind of blur into one. We almost didn't sleep at all. We left Miami on the Miami Heat jet. They let us borrow it to do that, and we did this all through like via the State Department so we could film. And when we landed, it's about a 20-minute flight, and you leave Miami, which is a big American city, and you land in the airport in Cuba, and there's nothing really but shacks around the airport. That's all you see. There are no advertisements for anything. There is a lot of poverty, and it's so shocking that 20 minutes on a plane will take you to what feels like should be maybe halfway around the world in a third world country that you just wouldn't believe could be close to so much wealth and be suffering like that. And then we were welcomed by everyone, including like their customs agents, so warmly in the next 4 days, running around, seeing everything that we could possibly pack into the trip, ending with the show, which was incredible. And it was like 60 or 70,000 people all seeing us at an outdoor venue without really any security, which was unusual. And basically their attitude when we put the show together was, we really don't need that much security, and we were very concerned about people getting hurt. The last thing we wanted to do is be like the first American rock band that goes and does a big outdoor show there and then has it be a disaster. And they said, people don't cause trouble here, and that's the way that is. And so we didn't really know how to take that. We had to sort of let them have their way, and it was actually really true. We got there, and they had like these really cheap kind of metal stanchions separating the crowd, where the crowd would kind of sway, which are they actually are more dangerous, I think, than not having them, because you knock them down and get trapped behind them. I've seen it happen before. And they started to move in the middle of the show, and I stopped the show, and a guy from my management company that spoke Spanish came out and just said, very calmly, back up a little bit and chill out a little bit, and they did, and that was it. Everyone just kind of, they got into it a lot, and in a lot of different ways. I mean, Cuban music is usually pretty participatory. There's like a lot of dancing and singing, and so there were a lot of people sort of just watching us, not really necessarily knowing how to react or respond to what we did, because it's really, it's a rock performance is a different thing, I think, than what they're used to seeing. And even though it was billed as sort of the first American rock band to go to Cuba and play a big show, I did a lot of research there. We're one of the only rock bands ever to do it. I'm still surprised that bands that don't have to go through the red tape that a United States band has to do don't go there and play music. I mean, it costs you money, but still there are a lot of extremely successful bands out there that could easily afford to go and play for these fans, and it's a shame that they don't do it.
96 Rock and Chris Cornell in the studio, and your new album, which we talked a little bit about before, let's get into now. It's called Scream. It comes out. Do you have a date yet, or is it just this fall at some point right now?
Yeah, sometime this fall, sometime September, October.
Okay, and how is this? I guess departure is the best way to put it, huh? You're working with Timbaland, who's done some rock stuff, but mostly hip-hop stuff. Mm-hmm. And what do you, I guess, what do you think people are, how do you think they're going to receive it, and how do you want them to receive it?
Well, yeah, I think if they sit down and listen to it, they'll be knocked over by it, because to me it doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like two worlds coming together. To me it sounds like a mixture of a ton of different influences. There are songs where really the rock influences came more from a Timbaland idea, and I brought in kind of my version of an old school soul or R&B vocal melody or approach to it. And there are just all kinds of different influences all over this record. And then musically, it's conceptually, it's really one piece of music from beginning to end, which is exactly the opposite of what I think people would expect from someone working with a producer who's become known as a pop producer. It's definitely an album-oriented album, more so than anyone I've ever made. So if you do the math, it's a little bit strange. It's like I'm going with someone that's considered to be a pop producer and then making probably the least pop album with that producer has ever made. And that sort of illustrates what the point was, which was that Timbaland is a genius and an extremely creative person, and those are the types of people that I want to work with. Also, someone that's extremely motivated. He's a workaholic, and he that's what he likes to do all the time, and so do I. So that was really the motivating factor. How we even got on the phone and decided to do it was all through family, through my wife and a friend of ours, and that knew his cousin that works with him, and got him on the phone. We just talked about doing it and then did it.
Well, you brought it in, so let's take a listen. This is brand new stuff now from Chris Cornell. The song is called Ground Zero. Ground Zero. And it's going to be from the brand new album coming out this fall. Not what you expected from Chris Cornell, but you're excited about this, man. You've had more fun making this than many albums in quite some time, huh?
I had a great time making this. Great time.
So tonight you're playing Projekt Revolution, and let's remind everybody the tickets are still available. The show is, the whole festival is underway now at Walnut Creek. You're coming on, though, plenty of time. You're coming on at 7:50, and then Lincoln Park right after you. And as far as the set list goes, as you said, I mean, we should expect a whole kind of career retrospective with a lot of stuff that people want to hear.
Yeah, as much as I can cram into an hour, really. I mean, I'm covering every band I've been in, and solo stuff, and even stuff from my new album. So
great.
There's just little slivers of time in there where you can clap. So just get that in there, and then I'm on.
Well, it's been a real thrill for me to have you in here in the studio today. Really appreciate you coming by.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, wish you the best on this album, and can't wait to see the show tonight. Chris Cornell.
Yes. Yeah.